You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to like finally be coming into an era where that being different isn't held against you. And I find in stand up, I was singing stand up for years. It's just the industry is very late to it. Audiences were telling me, "Hey, we like you. We like that you're different. We relate to you. We relate to your stories." And the industry was like, "No thanks." So the audiences were telling me pretty early on. So I always appreciated that, and I only knew that because I did stand up. Um, and so what the industry's finally catching on to is that people now care more about relatability than they do about if you're, supermodel or whatever that thing is that used to be so praised.
I would agree with that. I think people like relatability and flaws, and just
Mm-hmm.
like today I'm having together and yesterday I
Yeah.
was a mess. Sorry, but
Yeah.
this is how I am today. What about, like you got married, like you have your sweater on with a rainbow. I'm like a self-respecting gay man, so like yay, go. But like you've always been like, a great representation for the community,
Oh,
which,
thank you.
you've always been. How was getting married during this time of our worlds and everything that's going on
Um,
in COVID?
Definitely interesting. Because we had planned to get married, and we thought we would get married in like August of 2020. That was always sort of in the back of our head, but we knew we were never going to have like a traditional wedding. We always thought we'd have a thing and then a big party. Then COVID hit, and we were like, well, I guess we're not doing that. We had started to look at venues and luckily hadn't nailed anything down. And yeah, we just sort of put it aside and thought, I guess it just won't happen for a while. And then Ruth, truth be told, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and I think you can attest as a gay, the gays were just like, shit, what does this mean for us? It was a really dark time, in politically. Not that it's not now. There was a lot of question marks. An election was looming. The Supreme Court was just about to significantly shift, and we thought, what if we can't? What if we've been together, 6 years and suddenly can't get married? And it seemed like a real possibility at the time. So we were like, what are we waiting on? Let's just get married. We've been together long enough, and it ended up being the most beautiful way that we could have ever gotten married, and we never would have done it like that had it not been for the state of the world. But it got to be about us and our day, and we zoomed our families. I think it was harder for them to not be there, but then this past October we finally had a party, and everyone came out, and luckily it was right before the variant got out of hand. And we had, everyone felt good and grateful to be in a room with friends and family, and it was a really another beautiful weekend. So we got very lucky that somehow it, even though it didn't go as planned, it ended up being really perfect for us.
And it was a lot in part because of like Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing, and just
Yeah, I mean, just not, we, as a, people who aren't gay don't realize the fragility of, if you haven't had certain rights, they can be taken away. And if you think anything's set in stone, I mean, I think the current political climate shows you that nothing is quite set in stone. Everything can be brought back up, and you don't know the outcome, and so we didn't want to take any chances.
wow. I mean, I thought of it. I mean, I'm single AF, so I've
Mm-hmm.
thought of it, but I didn't really. I mean, that's a interesting. I never really put two and two together, but that makes a lot of
Mm-hmm.
sense, honestly.
Yeah, but just because I don't know, had the election gone a different way, what path that would have gone down. Would
Yeah.
marriage equality have come back up? It's hard to say, but there were so many unknowns at the time. We didn't want to take the chance, and we knew we wanted to be married, and yeah, we just didn't want to wait any longer. We're getting older. We're like, let's just go for it. And I'm glad we did. It's been great, and I'm happy that we didn't wait for some quote unquote right time, because as you can see, the world is still very unpredictable with the COVID and the variants and all the stuff. So I think at this point, you know, life had to keep moving, and we did the best we could to
I
work
love it.
within that.
I love it. Two final questions before we go. Speaking of your
Sure.
wife, how many people come up to you and make a Charlie's Angels reference?
They say
And
a
your
lot.
wife,
They'll see her name's Jacqueline Smith, like the Charlie's Angel. They definitely do a double take when they, see her name. Or she used to laugh that the airport, like people at the airport, would think that the angel was coming, and Jacqueline would show up, and they'd be like, "Oh." Like she was like, so people were like bummed out right away meeting me. I was like, "Oh." But now now a lot of people know her as Jax. She goes by Jax instead of Jacqueline. So they don't make the connection as much.
I just think, listen, you are now famous. You've had such a career. So it's different now. But before, I just think of dinner reservations in LA,
Right?
New
We
York.
should
I'm
use
like,
it.
back. And just so you know, because I know you don't watch Miami, now we have our first openly outcasted lesbian
I
housewife.
saw that. It's Martina Navrachilova's. I can't even.
Wife.
Her wife. Yeah,
And
that's
so
cool.
here's the thing. I'm like, okay, so like I get it. Like Martina will be on once. But Martina
Mhm.
is on the damn show. Like I figured
Oh,
we'll
is
see
she?
her way more than as a viewer of Housewives you would ever expect. Like I would
We'll
think
have to watch it. I'm so curious. I've never met Martina, but she's quite a trailblazer, so that'd be cool to watch.
she's doing art now. I'm like,
Oh,
I just figured, your wife, okay, go to work. Like I'll bop in
yeah.
once, like
They're power lesbians.
power
Power
lesbians.
lesbians. I love that.
Well, listen, you are a power lesbian too, Fortune.
We're on our way up. We're trying to be.
Everyone needs to like get tickets to your show. Where can everyone find you online who doesn't follow you, who wants to?
Well, if you want to come see a show, like you said, I'm going everywhere. I've been to a lot of places already, but there's still a lot to come.
Lots.
Feimster, fortunefeimster.com for tickets, and then I try to stay fairly active on Instagram, which is my name at Fortune Feimster. If you just put in at Fortune, the rest will come up. No one knows how to spell my last name.
I'm like, I imagine there's not a lot of Fortunes on Instagram.
Not a lot, at least not comedians. There's the magazine, for the Fortune magazine.
Just look for the one with the blue check, people. Well, listen, thank you so much. Sex Appeal was great.
Thank you. Well,
Keep in touch.
Thank you for talking with me and allowing me to share my love of the crazy housewives world.
That and your great career. I mean, I think you are so funny. I love watching you in almost everything you do. And I just keep in touch. You're awesome.
I appreciate it. I've been working really hard, and I'm just really grateful that anybody cares enough to want to see me do my thing.
I care. I'm going to have to check out when you're in the New York area.
I know. Yeah, I would love that.
I love it. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Take care.
of course. Thanks, David.
Bye.
Bye.